Welcome to Cooper by Tariq Ashkanani. Performed by Ryan Jordan McCarthy and Frankie Corzo. She was dead and dressed for dancing. Face up, that's how they found her. On her back and stretched out across the grass like the only thing being killed was time. I stood at the back door next to Joe and pulled on a pair of latex gloves. Snow drifted across her crowded backyard. I thought about that sign on the way into town. Some welcome. Her body was lying at the foot of a tree. Don't ask me what kind. Big and brown with blossoms on the branches. White petals, whatever. Rachel would have known what it was. A group of men had gathered. A murder like this they always did. No-name men in chinos from departments I didn't care enough about to ask. Bureaucracy, who gives a damn? They weren't here because they cared, and I'm sure you all know something about that. As we got close, I could see it in their eyes, in their bent heads, in the way they were talking, in the way they sucked back on their cigarettes, in the way they gazed down at her. Detached, like she was a bad cut of meat, like she was a problem. I followed Joe across the yard, and he turned to me and said he wanted me to take point on this, and I said all right. I figured he was testing me, and I guess this was as good a way as any. I wasn't worried. I didn't much care what he thought of me. People sometimes say I'm emotionally closed off, but people say a lot of things. A woman once said I was an asshole, and I reckon she was right. The men shifted as we approached. I caught a glimpse of a bare arm in the fresh snow, pale white. "Who's your boy?" one of them asked Joe. I couldn't tell who. "This here is Tommy Levine," he said. "Make him feel welcome." I swept my gaze around the group, got a perverse pleasure that no one bothered to try. Joe slid a cigarette into his mouth, waved me on as he lit up. I pushed through the center of the circle, bodies shifting just enough to let me pass. Shoulders brushing, the tang of stale coffee and bad breath. When I emerged, she was revealed to me in all her grotesque beauty. And when I stood over her, it was like some tribal ritual. Black shoe, the fancy kind, and only on one foot. Light brown pantyhose, a thin black dress, and a slim leather belt. Her legs outstretched, her arms tossed up above her head, her hands crumpled together. A dark, heavy necklace of bruises around her neck. Blonde hair, long and curled at the ends. She was young, maybe mid-20s. And if whoever had killed her had left her eyes behind, she'd have been pretty, too. Hell, you've seen the photos. I felt it then. Uncoiling in my gut, warm and slick. That strange mix of feebleness and fury, like I wanted to throw up and beat my fists against a brick wall at the same time. Staring at a mutilated woman tends to do that to a guy. "What do we know?" I said, hoping someone would answer. Someone did. "Name's Kelly Francis Scott, or at least we're presuming so." It was a bald man dressed all in white. I caught his eye. "This is Miss Scott's house?" "That's right." I crouched down beside her. The circle of men around me tightened. "Weather's going to bury this crime scene," I said. "We should get a tarp up." "Already requested, Detective." "Any sign of sexual assault?" "Doesn't look like it. I'll need to do a proper examination when we get her back to the station." I stood, paced slowly around her. "Her hands," I said, pointing. "Any sign they were bound?" "None." "So he was strong," I said. "Held her down, pinned her arms with one hand, strangled her with the other." "Maybe she was unconscious," one of them said. I looked at him, paunchy and greasy-faced, then back down at the woman. I wiped at my nose with the back of a gloved hand. "Maybe," I said, then found the man in the white jumpsuit. "You got a time of death yet?" "Best I can do right now is sometime in the last 8 hours." "She's not dressed for bed," I said. "Her outfit, I'm guessing she was out last night." Robbery gone bad?